Douluo. I rely on my words and actions to be invincible in the world. Introduction. www.zhaozuiyuan.com. What, inexplicably, I have traveled through time and space to become the son of the Ice and Fire Dragon King, and due to the turbulence of time and space, I have traveled to what will happen 10,000 years later. 10 times, I have followed my words and actions, and it seems that I have not become a soul master more powerful than Tang San. https://www.zhaozuiyuan.com. 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In ancient times, among the many soul beasts in Douluo continent, there was a dragon-type soul beast that, with its own talent, cultivated into a god and flew up to the divine realm. The dragon god relied on his powerful strength to expand territory in the divine realm and conquer many territories by chance. The dragon god gained the power of the universe's origin, leading to the sublimation of his bloodline and possessing 9 attributes: ice, fire, earth, wind, darkness, light, space, time, and stability. During the dragon god's campaign in various realms, he gradually regained many powers and bestowed the 9 attributes within his body on his 9 most loyal subordinates, and adopted him as his adopted son. With the continuous expansion of the dragon god and the 9 dragon kings, they eventually became the largest force in the divine realm, governing the 18 realms and under their command 18 divine kings. Those human soul masters who flew from Douluo continent to the divine realm also had to rely on their power. Although the dragon god was powerful and even married a stunning beauty, after years of hard work, he was still unable to give birth to a son to take over his position. After seeing this situation, the 9 dragon kings all thought that they could take over their adoptive father's position and sit in that supreme position, so they reconciled with their original brothers and united to the outside world, becoming brothers against harmony, constantly vying for power. The wife of the dragon god did not want to see her 9 adopted sons again and continued to fight each other, causing other powerful beings from other realms to take advantage of the situation and enter. Therefore, after a sexual encounter, the essence of the dragon god was forcibly integrated into the body and successfully conceived. After learning that their adopted mother was pregnant, the 9 dragon kings had no choice but to give up the idea of taking over the position of dragon god and swore to be loyal to the young master and never betray him. During the pregnancy of dragon god's wife, the baby in her belly continuously sucked in the breath of life, causing it to gradually weaken. After the dragon god's wife gave birth to a son, she passed away in despair. The dragon god saw his wife die after giving birth to a son, so he blamed her death on this son. Therefore, the dragon god has been training his son with the strictest requirements since childhood. After seeing this situation, the 9 dragon kings repeatedly advised their adoptive father, hoping to reduce the training workload of the young master. This move not only did not reduce the training intensity of the dragon god on his son, but also increased his training volume, as if he would never give up until he was killed. After seeing this situation, the 9 dragon kings no longer dared to advise their adoptive father. The space dragon king couldn't bear to see this situation, so he went to his adoptive mother's family, hoping to find some news. After multiple inquiries by the space dragon king, he finally found out the reason for his adoptive mother's death. The space dragon king quickly handed over this reason to his adoptive father. The dragon god learned of the reason for his wife's death, and surprisingly, it was because her wife had never given birth. Afraid that it was his own factor, and also worried that the 9 adopted sons would kill each other, causing chaos in the world, he tried his own family's secret method and forcibly infused his essence into his body. This secret method, although it can achieve 100% success in pregnancy, requires the use of one's own vitality to warm and nourish the fetus in the belly. When the fetus leaves the body, it is the day of death. After the dragon god saw this secret technique and the price it required to pay, tears immediately flowed down his face. After seeing this situation, the space dragon king learned that his adoptive father would definitely accept the advice and spoke up. The dragon god was immediately angry and scolded the space dragon king, claiming that the news was false, and scolded him out. After this incident, although the dragon god was still very strict with his own son, after training, he handed over the healing medicine to his own son through the light dragon king. Under the strict training of the dragon god, although the crown prince of the dragon god is exhausted after each training, his strength has greatly increased. At a young age, his strength is no longer below that of the 9 dragon kings. 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In order to leave a strong family foundation for his son, the dragon god fused the 18 realms into a more powerful divine dragon realm, and absorbed all the excellent young people from the territories to become his son's future team with years of hard work by the dragon god. The divine dragon realm has become the most powerful among many realms, although there are many powerful individuals from different realms who have invaded the divine dragon realm. They are easily eliminated by the dragon god subordinates. As the crown prince of the dragon god grew up day by day, the dragon god wanted to transform the divine dragon realm into a divine dragon star, so he went to the vast universe to search for his wife's reincarnation. One day, the dragon god, the crown prince of the dragon god, and the 9 great dragon kings gathered inside the dragon court. The dragon god sat on the golden chair, with his elbow resting on the armrest. He clenched his palm into a fist and pressed it against his cheek, saying, "Time, space." At this moment, 2 of the 9 standing people walked out and clasped their fists, saying, "Father." At this moment, the dragon god said, "A few days ago, I asked you 2 to speculate about the result of achieving the dragon god star in the dragon realm. How about that?" At this moment, the Time Dragon King said, "According to our 2 brothers' speculation, if we turn the realm into a divine star, it will bring terrible disasters. It is feared that." At this moment, the dragon god heard the Time Dragon King stuttering and said, "What might happen?" "Keep talking." At this moment, the Time Dragon King said, "It is feared that it will cause a devastating blow to the entire divine dragon realm." At this moment, the dragon god heard the speculation made by the Time Dragon King and angrily said, "This bunch of nonsense is just about achieving a divine star. How could such a result be achieved?" At this moment, the crown prince of the dragon god standing aside quickly clenched his fists and said, "Father, calm down. The 2 brothers only speculated on one of them, and it may not be true." At this moment, the dragon god said, "Oh, what do you mean?" At this moment, the crown prince of the dragon god said, "Although time and space brothers speak wildly, they are also thinking about their father's safety. I heard that Ice Dragon sister and Fire Dragon brother gave birth to a son, so why not let the 2 brothers take care of them? With the aid of us protecting our father's well, there should be no problem." At this moment, the dragon god said, "All right, let's follow the crown prince's instructions. In 3 days, go to the dragon god altar and achieve the dragon god star. You guys, protect me." After hearing what their father had said, everyone could only clasp their fists and say, "Yes," hoping that everything would go smoothly. On that day in the evening, the dragon god walked alone to the observation deck and looked at the vast starry sky with his wife's relic, a short knife, in his hand. He said, "Little Bai, our child has grown up. When I make the realm a divine star, I will find you. No matter how long I search, I will definitely find you. Wait for me." 3 days later, the dragon god walked to the entrance of the dragon court with the crown prince and 9 adopted sons. At this moment, the 2 dragon kings of time and space stood inside the dragon court, while the others stood outside. The dragon god first said, "All right, don't give it to the 2 of you." At this moment, the 2 dragon kings bent down and clasped their fists, saying, "I hope everything goes smoothly with my father." At this moment, after the dragon god said, everyone walked towards the dragon god altar. At this moment, the Ice Dragon King turned around as he walked and said, "2 younger brothers, remember to keep an eye on my son and your nephew. When we come back, my sister will treat you to a drink." At this moment, after the Time Dragon King said, "Good," the 2 of them turned around and walked back. After a while, the 9 of them walked into the dragon god's secret realm. After passing through a forest, the 9 of them walked to the bottom of the dragon god altar. They looked up as if it was an endless staircase. The dragon god led 8 people upwards, as the core of the altar was located at the top of the stairs. 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After an unknown amount of time, everyone finally reached the top of the altar. At this moment, the dragon god stood at the core position in the center of the altar, while others stood aside. At this moment, the dragon god is facing the starry sky, releasing the original power within himself. The starry sky suddenly opened a small hole, and the dragon god slowly drew the purest creative power from outside the hole to himself. After a while, a transparent stone the size of an egg appeared in front of the dragon god. After 5 rounds of consolidation, there are already 5 transparent stones on the edge of the altar. Only by completing the consolidation of the stones in front of the dragon god, can the infinite creative power outside the starry sky be introduced into the realm, thus achieving the god star. Just as the dragon god was glad that everything was going smoothly, an accident still occurred. It was because of that slight relaxation that the stone in front of him suddenly shook uncontrollably. At this moment, the dragon god learned that the stone was difficult to control and there was a risk of explosion, which the children could not bear. He quickly spoke up and said, "You go down quickly, I can't control this stone anymore." After hearing this news, the 8 of them immediately turned around and walked down. When the crown prince of the dragon god was about to go down, he turned to look at his father and saw that the stone was about to explode. He quickly ran forward, intending to protect his father's safety. At this moment, the crown prince of the dragon god said, "Father, be careful," and ran to his father's side speaking slowly and quickly. The stone suddenly exploded, mixed with some thick fog. When the smoke dissipated, only a bloody prince remained in front of the dragon god. At this moment, the dragon god quickly squatted down and picked up his son, crying and saying, "Stinky kid, wake up, wake up. Your mother died early, and you're the only one left. If even you leave, do you want me, such an old man, to support the entire divine realm?" As if hearing his father's plea, the crown prince slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, the crown prince weakly said, "Father, father." At this moment, the dragon god excitedly said, "I'm here." At this moment, the crown prince continued, "Father, I know you have always disliked me as the crown prince. If it weren't for me, my mother wouldn't have died. I know that turning the divine dragon realm into a divine star has always been my father's dream. Hurry up and condense the power of creation outside the starry sky into stone, and the divine star will." Before he could finish speaking, the crown prince died. At this moment, the dragon god held onto the cold corpse of the crown prince, his eyes gradually turning red, and the destructive force suppressed within him was no longer controllable. After the dragon god roared towards the sky, it suddenly turned into a 9-colored evil dragon wrapped in a red destructive force. At this moment, the dragon god spewed out a black beam of light from his mouth, destroying everything in the secret realm. At this moment, the 7 dragon kings who were still running down saw the destroyed trees below the stage. They turned around while running and looked around. After seeing their adoptive father's appearance, they all thought he was crazy. At this moment, everyone's idea was to quickly run downstairs and transform into a dragon's body to prevent the adoptive father from continuing to destroy. After everyone ran downstairs, the 7 of them quickly transformed into dragons and flew towards the dragon god. At this point, the dragon god had already been destroyed by the power of destruction, controlling his entire body. His mind was filled with nothing but destruction, and he punched all 7 dragon kings who flew in one after another with heavy punches. He only had the power to parry them. At this moment, the Wind Dragon King quickly said, "Sister Bing, brothers, hurry up and find a way to come out. If my father continues to destroy us like this, there may be nothing left in the entire divine realm." At this moment, the Ice Dragon King pretended to be calm and said, "So, Guangming, hurry back to the Dragon Court, inform time and space of the situation here, send my child to a safe place, and then call all the Divine King level powerhouses over. The 6 of us will be here to compete for time for you." At this moment, the Bright Dragon King said, "Good," and quickly flew towards the Dragon Court. 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the Bright Dragon King landed on the large square at the entrance of the Dragon Court, he transformed into a human and ran inside. Just as the 2 Dragon Kings of time and space were taking care of the baby in bed, they suddenly heard a noise coming from outside. At this moment, the Time Dragon King said, "Why is there so much noise outside?" At this moment, the Space Dragon King said, "Who knows, maybe it's celebrating the formation of the Divine Star." At this moment, the door was pushed open with a loud bang, and the bright Dragon King walked in panting, saying, "Time and space are not good anymore." At this moment, the Time Dragon King said, "What's going on?" Bright panicked. At this moment, the bright Dragon King said, "Father, he is crazy and constantly destroying outside. Sister Bing asked me to take the child to a safe place and call all the Divine King level powerhouses over to stop my father." After hearing what the bright Dragon King said, both Time and Space Dragon Kings were shocked at this moment. The Space Dragon King pretended to be calm and said, "So, after we send this child to a safe place, we will go and stop our father. You quickly gather all the Divine King level powerhouses." At this moment, after the bright Dragon King said, "Good," he turned around and ran out. At this moment, the Time Dragon King said, "Space, come up with a solution quickly. With my father's strength, the 9 of us combined may not be able to withstand the battle, let alone be in a crazy state. There is no such thing as a safe place." At this moment, the Space Dragon King said, "With the strength of both of us, it shouldn't be difficult to break through the void." At this moment, the Time Dragon King said, "Are you thinking? But the danger level of time and space turbulence is not something that a baby can bear." At this moment, the Space Dragon King said, "This is already the best way I can think of it." At this moment, the Time Dragon King said helplessly, "Oh, it seems that this is the only way." After that, the two of them used their abilities to create a temporary temporal and spatial crack. At this moment, the Space Dragon King picked up the baby on the bed and wrapped it all in a towel before walking towards the Time Dragon King. At this moment, the Time Dragon King thought to himself, "If this son survived a great disaster and returns to the divine realm one day, how can we recognize each other?" At this moment, the Time Dragon King remembered the box on the table, which had a red and white bracelet and a note with the words, "Cold Wind," written on it. He used his divine power to pull the box over and placed it in the towel wrapped around the baby's body. At this moment, after the Time Dragon King nodded, the Space Dragon King had no choice but to reluctantly send the baby in his hand into the cracks of time and space. After waiting for the news of the time and space rift, the two of them turned around and ran towards the secret realm. At this moment, somewhere on Blue Star, a young man sat on a computer chair, reading Douluo fan fiction on the computer. This young man has been sleeping for several days and nights and has not slept yet. He is so tired that he wants to sleep. After the young man finished reading the novel, he collapsed on the computer desk and fell asleep soundly. "I don't know how long I slept," but the young man woke up from his sleep due to the cold temperature. After looking around, he suddenly froze because it was not his own room, but a forest. Moreover, his body seemed to have shrunk into a baby, with nothing but a towel wrapped around him. At this moment, the baby thought to himself, "I'll just take a damn nap and cross over, and even cross over to this haunted place. I was thinking of seeking help, but I could only make the cry of a baby." At this moment, a snow-white giant snake, upon hearing the cry of a baby, crawled over. At this moment, when the baby saw the giant snake, it immediately cried even louder and thought to itself, "I may be the first traveler to be eaten by the snake. I really lose face with the army of travelers. If there is an afterlife, I won't read novels either." Just as the giant snake opened its mouth wide and was about to swallow the baby in one gulp, a first soul skill Cold Spear Assault hit the snake's body and nailed it to a nearby tree. 5. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this point, the baby felt like they were out of danger and fainted due to lack of strength. At this moment, a man, Lin Wu, who appeared to be in his 30s, walked out of the darkness, surrounded by 7 soul rings. 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black. At this moment, Lin Wu used his soul power to control the gun on the tree and said, "Go back." The gun quickly flew into Lin Wu's hand. At this moment, the snake knew that it could move and saw the 7 soul rings on the man's body. It quickly used the fastest speed in its life to escape. At this moment, after Lin Wu collected his martial soul, he walked up to the baby and picked it up, saying, "Which parents, with such hatred, have left their child here?" At this moment, Lin Wu saw that he was pitiful, so he continued, "Anyway, my wife is also about to give birth. Let's treat him as a companion for the child." After that, he used his soul power and ran south. On the way south, when the baby woke up, Lin Wu bought some flowing food and fed it to the baby. 3 days later, Lin Wu carried the baby and walked into the city. Not long after, Lin Wu walked to the doorstep, opened the door with the key, pushed forward, said, "I'm back," and then walked in, closing the door as well. At this moment, the two women in the room, upon hearing the sound, looked towards the door. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan sat on a chair and spoke, "You're back, what's the situation with Soul Ring Hunt?" At this moment, Lin Wu said, "Not bad. My 7th soul ring comes from a mysterious ice demon Tiger King who has been around for over 48,000 years. After that, he sat on the chair next to Shui Ruoxuan. At this moment, Bai Handong saw the baby held in Lin Wu's hand and said, Cousin, why did you bring back a child? It shouldn't have been stolen, right?" At this moment, Lin Wu said, "Don't talk nonsense. I found this on the outskirts of the frozen forest after obtaining the 7th soul ring. Seeing that he was pitiful, I brought him back." At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan opened his arms and said, "Come, give me a hug for the child." At this moment, Lin Wu said, "Good," and handed the baby in his hand to Shui Ruoxuan. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan looked at the baby in his hand and said, "This child is quite good looking. Anyway, there is not a shortage of food at home. Let's keep him. Maybe he can be our child's playmate." After that, the baby woke up. At this moment, Bai Handong said, "The little one is awake." At this moment, the baby looked around and thought to himself, "I have been adopted and even become the son of this family. Forget it, it's not a good idea to be a son to anyone. It's also good to have a place to rely on here." Just as Bai Handong was interacting with the baby, Shui Ruoxuan said, "The child is quite well behaved. He doesn't cry or make a fuss. I think this is good. Let's take a shower with him first. You go outside and buy a baby suit and come back." After hearing what Shui Ruoxuan said, the two men suddenly couldn't calm down. At this moment, Lin Wu said, "What, take a shower? How about I wash with him and let Xiaodong go buy clothes?" At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan smiled and said, "He's just a doll. Why are you nervous? Or do you even eat vinegar from a doll?" At this moment, Lin Wu thought to himself, "Yes, it's just a doll. Why do I care so much? Am I really overthinking it?" At this moment, Lin Wu said, "Yes, I'll go buy clothes." After that, he turned around and walked outside the house. At the same time, the baby thought to himself, "I didn't expect to reach the pinnacle of my life at such a young age." At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Xiaodong, let's take a shower." After Bai Handong said, "Good," the two of them stood up and walked towards the bathroom. After the two of them walked into the bathroom, Shui Ruoxuan placed the baby in his arms on the table. Bai Handong started using shower water. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Child, you have to be obedient. Your cousin is now using the bathwater. When it's full, we'll take a shower together." 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the water in the bathtub was not yet full, the two of them began to take off their clothes. At this moment, the baby on the table blushed and quickly closed his eyes when he saw this situation. But on second thought, he was still a child and had not yet opened his mind. Would adults mind? Moreover, it was not what I wanted to see. If there were advantages, I wouldn't take advantage of the bastard. Let me see. What's going on at this moment? The baby thought of a particularly perfect excuse for himself and then opened his eyes. Not to mention, although the two of them seem to be in their 30s, their skin care is comparable to that of young girls, as if they can be easily punctured by a blow. When the baby saw Shui Ruoxuan's bulging belly, it knew that he was a pregnant woman, and an extremely evil thought suddenly came to mind. When the water in the bathtub was halfway filled, the two of them took off their clothes. At this moment, there was nothing on their bodies except for a towel wrapped around them. At this moment, Bai Handong squatted down and put his hand into the bathtub. He noticed that the bathwater was a bit hot, so he quickly withdrew his hand and turned on the valve core of another faucet, causing cold water to flow out. After the bath water heated up and the bathtub was almost full, Bai Handong tightened the valve cores of the two faucets at this moment. Bai Handong took the other hand out of the bathtub, shook the water on his hand, stood up, and looked towards the baby, intending to bring him over to take a bath. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan took a step faster and picked up the baby on the table, saying, "Let's take a shower." After that, he walked over. At this moment, Bai Handong walked up and said, "Sister-in-law, let me hold this little guy." At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, no need, I'll do it." At this moment, the baby held in Shui Ruoxuan's hand thought to himself, "Anyway, I'm still a child and don't understand anything. Eating tofu should be normal, right? That's normal." He then placed one hand on Shui Ruoxuan's body. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan felt as if something was touching his body. He lowered his head and looked down, seeing that it was a baby being held on his body. At this moment, Bai Handong smiled and said, "Sister-in-law, look, the little one is touching you." At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "You're such a little guy. You're so lecherous. When you grow up, you must be a big pervert." After that, the two of them had already walked to the edge of the bathtub. At this moment, after Shui Ruoxuan took off the towel wrapped around the baby's body, a box fell from the towel and landed on the ground just as Shui Ruoxuan was thinking about bending down to pick it up. Bai Handong said, "Sister-in-law, I'll come." At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Okay," and walked into the bathtub. After Bai Handong picked up the box on the ground, he also walked into the bathtub. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan placed the baby in a small bathtub and said, "Xiaodong, what's in the box?" At this moment, after Bai Handong opened the box, he looked inside and said, "Look," then moved the front of the box towards Shui Ruoxuan. When Shui Ruoxuan saw the red and white bracelet, as well as a note with the words, "Cold Wind," written on it. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "So your name is Cold Wind?" After saying that, he covered the box and put it in his storage soul guide. In the future, all storage soul guides will be replaced by rings. Don't ask why, the author is too lazy to think about anything else at this moment. The baby thought to himself, "Is the name of this body called Cold Wind? It sounds pretty nice. I will definitely be a handsome guy in the future. Look at me, I won't be able to charm all the goddesses in Douluo." At this moment, the cold wind made a like cry. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "What's going on?" I saw the cold wind pointing to the water as if it were mysterious, with a pretty stomach. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan pointed to his stomach and said, "You're talking about this." At this moment, Cold Wind nodded in response. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan continued, "The noodles here are a little dull like you. In a while, you can meet again." At this moment, after pointing to Shui Ruoxuan's belly again, Cold Wind pointed to himself. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Do you want it?" At this moment, Cold Wind nodded again in response. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Well, if I were born a man, you would be brothers, if I were a woman, you would become husband and wife. What would that be like?" At this moment, Han Feng smiled happily and nodded, thinking to himself, "Great. In my past life, I was a single dog, in this life, I want a wife to nurture me." 7. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Even if you haven't been born yet, dare you think that you are really a pervert?" Upon hearing what Shui Ruoxuan said, Bai Handong snatched the cold wind from the small bathtub and said, "Little Han Feng, don't listen to my sister. In law. There are men and women in her belly, and no one can say for sure. Why don't you marry me when you grow up? My sister loves big perverts the most." At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan once again snatched the cold wind and said, "The little cold wind is still small, don't teach him to be bad." At this moment, Bai Handong had no choice but to say, "I understand." In response, after the two of them finished taking a shower, Shui Ruoxuan first came out of the bathtub, then took out a towel from the ring, wiped the shower water from his body, and walked towards the table. After Shui Ruoxuan walked to the table, he had already wiped the shower water off his body and placed a towel on the table. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan took out a new set of clothes from his ring after putting all the clothes on the table, put them on one by one. After Shui Ruoxuan put on his clothes, he turned around and said, Xiaodong, come out. After that, he took out a new towel from his ring again. At this moment, after Bai Handong said, good, he picked up the cold wind and walked out of the bathtub. After Bai Handong placed the cold wind in his hand on the table, he took the towel from Shui Ruoxuan's hand and wiped the shower water off his body. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan placed the cold wind on the towel that had wiped his body, and started wiping the cold wind's body. At this moment, the cold wind was intoxicated by the fragrance of the towel, unable to extricate itself. While smelling it, he thought to himself, the scent of a wife is truly fragrant, the scent of the sea is truly fresh. After Shui Ruoxuan wiped the shower water off Cold Wind's body and wrapped a towel around Cold Wind's body, Bai Handong also put on his clothes. At this moment, the cold wind, held by Shui Ruoxuan, suddenly let out a hajio sound and sneezed. At this moment, Bai Handong said, the clothes will be bought back soon. Xia Hanfeng, please wait a little longer. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan looked at the door and continued, tell Lao Lin to buy some clothes. Why have you been there for so long? After Shui Ruoxuan finished complaining, the sound of I'm back suddenly came from outside the door. At this moment, the two quickly walked towards the direction of the door and opened it. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan cursed at Lin Wu and said, Old Lin, I asked you to buy clothes. Why did you buy them for so long? We've all finished taking a shower. At this moment, Cold Wind thought to himself, in this situation, do I have to cry? Otherwise, it would be a bit abnormal. Yes, I have seen the baby's self-cultivation, and as a baby, I am professional. He then burst into tears. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan quickly comforted and said, oh, the child doesn't cry. Mom shouldn't speak so loudly. At this moment, Lin Wu said, it's not enough just to buy clothes. I also bought a crib, that's why I've been here for so long. When Lin Wu finished speaking and Shui Ruoxuan comforted him, Cold Wind didn't cry anymore. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, where's the bed? You haven't taken it out yet, haven't you seen me holding the child? It's very tiring, okay. At this moment, Lin Wu said, oh, here we are. After speaking, he walked up and took out the crib from the ring. There was also a set of baby clothes on the bed. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan placed the cold wind in his arms at the head of the crib. After Shui Ruoxuan took off the towel wrapped around Cold Wind's body, he put on the baby clothes on the bed and started shaking the edge of the crib, intending to coax Cold Wind to sleep. At this moment, the cold wind also gave Shui Ruoxuan enough face. He yawned first and then fell asleep. At this moment, Lin Wu saw this situation and looked at his wife, saying, Xiener, do you want to give your child a name? At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, speaking of the name, taking out a box from the ring, take a look at this. At this moment, Lin Wu took the box from Shui Ruoxuan's hand and opened it, seeing what was inside. At this moment, Lin Wu said, just call this child Lin Hanfeng and give him the bracelet when his martial soul awakens at the age of 6. At this moment, two women. One person said, okay. One person said, and nodded in agreement. 4 months later, Shui Ruoxuan also gave birth to a baby, which was a girl. Lin Wu took a name and called it Lin Hanyue. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng sat on the crib and said happily, great, I have a wife now. But on second thought, this family seems to be dominated by women. Isn't it that I'm going to be governed for a lifetime? At this moment, Lin Hanfeng thought to himself, forget it, if you're under control, then you're under control. Anyway, I also have a wife now, and it's reasonable for my husband to listen to her. However, Lin Hanfeng flew up. It turned out that Bai Handong had picked her up and said, little one, you have a wife now, but your sister.in.law is still alone. She thought and thought about it, planning to give you a gift. After that, she quickly kissed Han Feng's mouth. Just as Lin Hanfeng was looking bewildered, Lin Wu turned around and said, little guy, you have an old lady, who has looked at the situation. After the two parted lips, Bai Handong said, cousin, sister.in.law, your son.in.law's first kiss was taken away by me. If my niece Xiaoye doesn't like Xiaofeng, then I will take action. At this moment, Lin Wu quickly said, you girl, you're so old and not serious yet, are you? Are you going to fight? After saying that, he pretended to fight at this moment. Bai Handong said, cousin, I suddenly remembered that I forgot to collect some clothes at home. I'll go back and collect them first. Remember to come to me if you need anything, and then ran out. 8. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 2 years later, Lin Hanfeng was sitting on a chair in the courtyard, contemplating his life. Suddenly, a voice came to my mind, ding, the Tang dynasty's 3-Qi transport system has been activated, hosting Lin Hanfeng. At this moment, a blue light curtain appeared before Lin Hanfeng's eyes. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng looked around anxiously and realized that there was no one around. He excitedly whispered, great, the system has finally arrived, and I am also an excellent traveler. At this point, the system said, as long as the host seizes Tang San's deserved Qi luck, they can obtain Qi luck points. Qi luck points can exchange things in the system, and anything can be exchanged. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, the system, other travelers all have beginner gift packages. Do you have them? At this point, the system said, ding, to prevent the host from being too shabby and losing face with the system, we will give the host a free chance for a lucky draw. At this moment, a spinning wheel appeared in front of Lin Hanfeng, with a red button next to it. At this moment, after looking at the rewards on the big turntable, Lin Hanfeng pressed the red button and the turntable began to rotate. After the turntable stopped, the fingertips pointed to a reward and the system said, ding, congratulations to the host, you have had 10 opportunities to speak freely. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, what's the use of this? At this point, the system says, as the name suggests, the words spoken by the host can come true as long as they are reasonable, but cannot be used against humans. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, damn it, with these 10 opportunities, what else can't I do? Tang San, right. The Lord of the Plain, right. See if I don't hit you, kneel down and call me Dad. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng thought to himself, how about using it first and trying the water? At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, system, I want to use my words and actions freely. At this point, the system says, host, please speak. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, I want to, but remembered that another year would be when Xueqing River killed the second prince. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, system, please wait for me for a while. After that, he turned around and walked into the house. After taking a piece of paper and a pen, he returned to the courtyard, sat on a chair, and placed the paper on the table with some words written on it. The content on the paper. Congratulations to the young master for replacing the heavenly Dou prince. However, Xueqinghe is not the son of Emperor Xueye. The most outstanding is the second prince. Many courtiers intend to appoint the second prince as the crown prince. The young master can only use poison to eliminate this person, but the poison cannot have any relationship with the young master. Otherwise, if someone investigates, it is easy to find the young master. In case of any unforeseen circumstances, the young master can take advantage of the opportunity to kill the third prince as well. If the two princes pass away one after another, Emperor Xueye will order a thorough investigation. If the young master is also poisoned, Xueyi will also order a thorough investigation. Your Majesty would think that Prince Xueqing wants to seize the throne, and the next step is to poison the fourth prince. If the fourth prince is not dead, with the intelligence and talent of the young master, there is no need for me to say more, right? Ghost-faced demon worships. After Lin Hanfeng finished writing the letter, he folded the paper in half and said, system, I want to use my words and actions as I please. At this point, the system says, host, please speak. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, firstly, I need a temporary spatial tunnel that can reach the crown prince's mansion of the heavenly Dou Empire. Moreover, this letter can only be seen by Qian Renxue. After that, a spatial tunnel appeared in front of me, which contained a room. The decorations inside the room were all revealed, and the people living there must have a high level of identity. They should be the bedroom of the Crown Prince's mansion, and the paper in their hands was also surrounded by a beam of light. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng walked into the space, placed the paper in his hand on the table, and then walked back to his courtyard. The space tunnel also disappeared at this moment. After Lin Hanfeng sat on the chair, he continued to say, secondly, one of my eyes can see through all the mechanisms in the world and even crack them, the other eye can detect the surrounding treasures. After Lin Hanfeng finished speaking, the system said, Ding, congratulations to the host. You have obtained the Eagle Eye and Treasure Hunting Eye, which are merging with the host's eyes. Before Lin Hanfeng could speak, does it hurt? At this point, the system continued to say, congratulations to the host, successful fusion. After hearing what the system was saying, Lin Hanfeng said, it's over before it starts. After that, he walked to a pool in front of him, looked at the people on the water, and said, not bad, he's a handsome guy. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng felt that his eyes had not changed much. He looked for Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com and said, the system, my eyes, don't seem to have changed much. At this point, the system said, if the system produces something, it must be a masterpiece. The host doesn't feel it now because there are no treasures or mechanisms around. As long as there is one of them around the host can detect it. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, so it's like this. At this moment, after Lin Hanfeng sat back in his chair, he continued to say, thirdly, unless it is a deity who explicitly gives the soul master a divine level test, the gods in the divine realm must not interfere with the life and death of the soul master. At this point, the system said, ding, the system has set up a divine power barrier. Unless it is related to the life and death of the soul master and can be used 3 times, the gods cannot intervene in the life and death of the soul master, except for Tang San. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng asked in confusion, why is Tang San excluded? At this point, the system said, because Tang San's journey was secretly operated by the Shura god, he already has some divine power on his body, which is difficult to deprive. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, that means no matter how hard I try to seize Tang San's chi, he can eventually become a god. At this point, the system said, yes, but the host can delay the age of becoming a god by seizing Tang San's chi luck. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, both the sea god and the Shura god are first-level gods, and the Shura god is one of the 5 great divine kings. Tang San must be at least level 100 to achieve the dual divine positions. As long as I slow down Tang San's level increase, I can delay his age to become a god. At this point, the system responded by saying, yes. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng thought of a plan and said, system, if I kill Tang San's left hand while preserving his life, will the Shura god take action? At this point, the system said, no, host. As long as Tang San is not in danger of his life, the Shura god will not take action. 9. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, great, and decided to continue using his words and actions casually. At this moment, behind Lin Hanfeng, there came the voice of Shui Ruoxuan, Xiaofeng, it's time to eat. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng looked up at the sky and found that it was already noon. It was time to have lunch. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, here, and walked into the house. After everyone had lunch, Lin Hanyue took Lin Hanfeng's hand and said, brother, come play with me. At this moment, after Lin Hanfeng said, good, the two of them walked towards the courtyard. At the same time, in the Crown Prince's mansion of Tiando, Xue Qinghe walked into his room and was about to rest when he saw a letter on the table. He turned to the maid behind him and said, you guys go out first. At this moment, several maids said, yes, and then walked out, casually closing the door. At this moment, Xue Qinghe quickly walked up, picked up the letter on the table, and began to read it. After Xue Qinghe saw the content of the letter, although he didn't know who wrote it, he felt it made sense and prepared what he needed based on what was written in the letter. At night, everyone fell asleep at this moment. Lin Hanfeng looked at the system in his mind and said, system, I want to use my words and follow my methods. At this point, the system says, the host can still have 7 more opportunities to speak freely. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said forth. I need, 2 different spaces the first place. Imprisoning all the heavens and realms, all evil creatures exist in the form of soul beasts, with a maximum of 100,000 years, and only humans can enter and exit. After killing one, the Soul Master can absorb the Soul Ring and return to the original world, then replenish it from its interface second place. Whenever a soul beast on Douluo continent is killed, it can be resurrected in that space by paying half of its cultivation. As long as the cultivation is not left for a year, it can be resurrected infinitely. Similar to the first place, there is a place of confinement where only entry and exit are allowed at this point. The system says, ding, we have given the host 2 different spaces. By chance, the host can enter. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, why, there's still a chance coincidence. How long will this opportunity last? At this point, the system says, no comment. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng angrily said, damn it, I wasted 1 opportunity for nothing. Anyway, there are still 6 more. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said fifth. I want all the knowledge of the Douluo plane, including the Sun-Moon continent, the Divine Realm, and those 2 spaces at this point. The system said, ding, the Douluo plane has been organized, and all the knowledge, Douluo complete solution, has been placed in the host system space. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, open the system space. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng saw the words Douluo Chuanjia X100 appearing in the first grid of the system space. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng began to feel drowsy and spoke, System, I'm going to sleep now, you can disappear. After that, he closed his eyes. The next morning, the first to get up were 2 adults who left the room lightly, afraid that they might wake up the 2 children. After the 2 of them left the room, they walked downstairs to prepare breakfast. After a while, Lin Hanyue stood up for the second time. Her stomach suddenly growled and she couldn't see her parents at this moment. Lin Hanyue shook her brother's body and said, Brother, I'm hungry. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng closed his eyes and said, Don't disturb me, let my brother sleep for a while longer. At this moment, Lin Hanyue angrily punched Lin Hanfeng's body with both fists, continuing to say, Brother, don't sleep, I'm starving to death. After that, she kept hammering her brother with her hands and saying, I'll let you sleep, I'll let you sleep. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng felt the pain on his body and quickly got up, saying, Okay, okay. Brother won't sleep anymore, won't sleep anymore. It's okay. At this moment, Lin Hanyue said, I'm hungry. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, Okay, brother will take you to breakfast. After that, the 2 of them walked to the bedside and put on their shoes separately. At this moment, after the 2 stood up, Lin Hanfeng extended his right hand and handed it to Lin Hanyue, saying, Let's go, sister. We're going to have breakfast. At this moment, after Lin Hanyue said, she grabbed Lin Hanfeng's hand, and Lin Hanfeng pushed open the door and walked downstairs. After the 2 of them walked to the place where they were eating, they saw the water as mysterious as water, sitting on a chair. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng spoke up and said, Mom, my sister and I are hungry. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan looked at the 2 of them and said, Wait a little longer, Dad will almost make breakfast. After speaking, the 2 of them sat on chairs. 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan loudly said, Old Lin, have you finished breakfast? I'm starving to death. After hearing what Shui Ruoxuan said, Lin Wu in the kitchen said, It will be fine soon. After a while, Lin Wu came out of the kitchen with some food in hand. After everyone finished breakfast, the 2 children went to play in the courtyard. Half a year later, while the 2 children were playing in the courtyard, the system said, I learned that the host has never obtained any luck points within 6 months. To avoid the host being too salty, the system will periodically provide new tasks for the host. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng only wanted to vomit loudly. It's not that I don't want to obtain luck points, but I can't do it. Half a year has passed, and every 7 days, the system releases, Men Can't Say They Can't Do tasks, which is all about physical exercise, adding several to more than 10 points of energy one morning, while everyone was having breakfast at this moment. After eating a piece of meat, Lin Hanfeng said, "Hey, Mom and Dad, what kind of meat is this? It's really delicious." At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "This is soul beast meat, which your father bought outside." At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, "Oh, soul beast meat, it's really delicious." When everyone finished breakfast and the two children were about to go play in the courtyard at this moment, Lin Wu said, "Xiaoye, Xiaofeng, don't leave yet." At this moment, the two children stopped and turned around. Lin Hanfeng said, "What's going on, Dad?" At this moment, Lin Wu said, "You two are already 4 years old. We thought it was time for you to learn some knowledge about the Soul Master realm." At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, "Mom and Dad, what you mean is that we need to study." At this moment, Lin Wu said, "Yes," and nodded in response. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng continued, "My younger sister is still young. Let her play for a few more years," while touching Lin Hanyue's head. "If you're studying, I'll take a look when I have time." After hearing Lin Hanfeng finish speaking, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Okay," standing up from the chair, "Xiaofeng, come with me." At this moment, after Lin Hanfeng said, "Good," he looked at Lin Hanyue beside him and said, "Sister, you go play first. I'll go later." At this moment, Lin Hanyue said, "All right, brother, come back quickly." At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, "Good," and followed behind Shui Ruoxuan. After a while, the two of them walked to the front of a large door. At this moment, after Shui Ruoxuan pushed open the door, a staircase leading to the underground appeared. After a while, the two of them felt black and walked towards the basement. The system said, "Ding, provide the first task for the host." Task name. What does it mean to be happy with one person? Everyone is happy, that's what makes you happy. Task content. Please lead a family to enter a different space. Complete task. Reward 4,000 chi points. Punishment for failure. The cultivation speed is 4 times slower than the average person. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng thought to himself, "Is the entrance to the other space in this basement? No wonder I've been searching for so long but haven't found it. After finding it later, there will be 4,000 points of luck, which is really great." The two continued to walk down. After walking for a while, the two of them arrived at the basement. Shui Ruoxuan touched the wall, pressed something, and the light came on. A room full of miscellaneous items appeared in front of the two of them. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Xiaofeng, first find a seat to sit down and Mom will go find the book." At this moment, after Lin Hanfeng said, "Good," he decided to find a seat to sit down. Suddenly, the sound of the system came to my mind. Ding, the system sensed the presence of a mechanism. Is the eagle eye activated? At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, "Open." At this moment, Lin Hanfeng's eyes saw the structure inside the wall. The color was light blue. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng saw a red tile not far from him. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng walked towards the position of the red floor tile. When Lin Hanfeng stepped on the floor, it sank down. At this moment, after finding the book, Shui Ruoxuan turned around to look at the location of Lin Hanfeng and walked forward. As he walked, he said, "Xiaofeng, let's go. The book has been found." After that, he walked up to Lin Hanfeng. At this moment, Lin Hanfeng said, "Mom, I'm afraid I can't leave anymore." After that, he pointed down to the floor. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan looked down and saw his son's feet sinking into the floor. He quickly said, "There is a mechanism." At this moment, Lin Hanfeng nodded in response. At this moment, Shui Ruoxuan said, "Xiaofeng, don't be afraid. Your father's second soul ring is a defensive soul skill, and I'll call your father over." After that, he quickly ran up. After Shui Ruoxuan told the story, the two quickly ran towards the basement. After the two of them walked to the basement, Lin Wu quickly said, "Xiaofeng, don't be afraid," and then released 7 soul rings. At this moment, Lin Wu said, "The second soul skill, the cold spear barrier." After speaking, for ice walls appeared next to Lin Han Feng, enclosing him and his wife.